everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from beautiful and a little too hot Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank Feldman.
And I'm Dan Beecher.
And Dan,
Yeah.
coming up today, we have a very serious discussion.
Coming up yesterday.
Coming up yesterday. Shit.
Later-
Coming up earlier this week.
Later in the past, we're going to be talking about parades. Let me tell you something. I don't understand parades.
No.
You're going to have to explain them to me.
And we're talking about one specific parade
Yeah.
that happened on this most recent 4th of July down in Provo, Utah.
Yes.
The Freedom Festival Parade,
The
right? Isn't that what they call it?
The little town that could be an asshole to everybody.
But with a twist, too.
Well, with a twist. We'll see.
Because the town actually wasn't being an asshole.
Well,
in a weird way. In a weird way.
There's your twist right there. We'll get to it.
We'll explain what all that means later.
Ooh, fun.
On the show,
How
Dan.
very exciting.
But first, Dan, I feel free to
I
have
feel free.
clean cheeks and neck.
Yeah. Even we bearded fellows need to shave. Okay, look. You've heard us say it before. If you haven't checked it out yet, just go check it out, damn it. It's so easy and it's free. If you're a fella, you have to shave.
Right.
You don't have to shave everything.
No.
We don't shave everything.
Clearly not.
But if you do shave everything, you're definitely going to want to check this out.
Yeah.
Just give them a try. We're talking about harrys.com, HARRYS.com /TGIA. And that's where you go. If you let them know that we sent you, and that's by going to the TGIA part, the /TGIA, you get for free the little kit and caboodle. You get the razor with the 5 precision engineered blades. You get the ergonomic handle. You get the so good smelling shave gel.
Love that stuff.
You get the travel thing,
Little protector
thing for the travel. You get it all for free. You just pay shipping. You try it out. If you don't like it, you just stop it. No harm, no foul. You have not been hurt by this. All you've gotten was some free stuff.
Right.
If you do like it, we think you will.
Yeah.
Then they just keep sending you stuff, and you don't have to worry about like ever having a dull blade or ever having any of that stuff. So it's easy. If you haven't tried it out, if you've been thinking about it, off your duff, just go to harrys.com, sign up, and just try it.
Yeah.
/TGIA. harrys.com /TGIA. Try it. You'll help
try.
You'll help your favorite Frank and Dan out.
And you'll help your cheeks and maybe even the rest of your face.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And
Do you feel like your face needs some help?
do you shave your chest at the,
Do they recommend it for...
No, but I do.
Really? You do?
I don't know. I've never shaved my chest.
Oh, okay.
But try it. I don't know. Give it a shot.
All right. Moving right along.
Please move along.
I don't even know where to start. Did I forget to bring the funny again?
We've lost track of the show.
Oh my God.
The show's over.
Right. Let me
the
see
show's over.
Let me see if I can make this one amusing.
Okay. I love it.
So, this whole horrifying thing that's happening on our border with the families being detained.
I do know this horrifying
the
thing.
immigrant families that are being detained.
And all of these
at the
children
border.
that are still separated from their families with no plan as to how to get them back together with them.
Yeah.
Sure.
That whole thing.
Hilarious so far. Keep going.
Well, there is an Episcopal church in Indianapolis that is protesting.
Okay.
They have put a detained Holy Family on their front lawn.
Oh, I did see this. Yeah.
They put a nice little chain link fence.
They basically broke out their nativity scene from Christmas.
Yeah.
Put it out on the front lawn
and put a chain link fence around it.
Yeah.
And they're running with the hashtag "Every Family is Holy." Which I think is awesome. They're getting out there, they're making a statement, and it's getting some attention. And you know what? We need everyone in this country.
Oh, we need the religious people, especially.
And we really need the religious people because there's a part of the religious community that is so hateful,
Right.
that would support this,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
And does.
Romans 13 does say,
Just submit.
just do what the government tells you to do. According to Jeff Sessions.
Anyway, the dean and rector
Rector.
I
Damn
know.
near killed her.
of the Christ Church Cathedral says Holy Scripture is clear about how we are to treat people trying to find safety for their families. We are to show mercy and welcome them.
Yeah.
Jesus, Mary, and Joseph were homeless and fled danger to seek asylum.
Yeah, they fled to Egypt.
That's true. He also says we must not be divided by race, language, or culture, but reach out to care for our neighbors because every family is sacred. Please, more people do this. However you can make the point.
Yeah.
This administration must continue to be shamed on this and many other issues.
Oh, all of the
but
issues.
This one is so horrifying.
Right. Yeah. I have one person on my Facebook feed. A lot of our listeners actually friend me on Facebook, and a lot of podcasters just accept all friend requests. I don't, because I keep my, people can still follow me and they'll get my pretty much all of my posts.
Right.
But I don't accept friend requests because I keep my Facebook
I get it. You don't want friends, you want followers. That's cool.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. So don't be offended if I don't accept your friend request. But I will say this: I have one friend still, a friend from college, who she is a rabid Trumpite conservative, just Breitbartian in her right wing extremism, and I can't even nail her down. Like, she's super Christian, and I can't even nail her down on this one. I'm like, I just started posting scripture after scripture after scripture that just say that are all about, like, Jesus himself saying, be neighborly, accept people, help people.
Right.
She's like, and here's the real kicker. She's an immigrant.
No.
But she's an immigrant from Spain. And so, she's like, well, I went through the process. Why can't they go through the process? Well, I don't know. Maybe they don't live in a wealthy country.
Right.
Where they're super comfortable.
Right.
Maybe they are,
They weren't fleeing European socialism.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Oh, my gosh.
What a horror. Oh,
I can't believe.
God.
So, yeah, we do.
I got out of that shithole Europe.
Right. Just in time.
It was terrible.
It's going downhill so fast. It's amazing to me. We need to be applauding the religious people who are actually living up to their creed of being kind to other people. That's
yes.
Okay. Great. Good. At least you're doing that. I don't like the religion thing, but at least you're doing it.
Yeah.
Do your religion.
Yes.
For God's sake.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of the intersection of religion and politics, I'm going to talk about, we just had Justice Anthony Kennedy declare that he's going to resign from the
Why did you
Supreme
say that,
Court.
Dan?
I know, it's hard.
I had gone a half hour without thinking about it and feeling bad.
Just having that nice, pleasant numbness instead of the constant looming dread that we just all feel now.
It was lovely, Dan, and you just ruined it.
I did ruin it. I'm going to talk about how... Here's the thing. If you paid any attention to what the right-wing extremists were doing and have been talking about for a few years now, what the way that they've been rallying people to vote, especially their religious people, because frankly, they're kind of losing their grip on the religious right. The right wing is losing because they've gone off the rails completely.
Yeah.
If anything, this thing at the border kind of points out they're not doing the Christian thing anymore at all. They're not even pretending at it at this point. But a lot of people felt like they were holding their nose to vote for Trump so that they could get this some Supreme Court appointments and some federal court appointments.
Right.
Well, now that it's going to happen for them, a lot of these evangelicals are backing off of this thing. Like they were talking about, we can get Roe v. Wade overturned. That for our international listeners, I'm sure you're aware of it, but that's the thing that prevented any state from banning abortion.
Right.
But they're excited. They were licking their lips. They were chomping at the bit. They were so excited about the idea of getting rid of Roe v. Wade. Well, now that it's going to be happening, they're like, oh no, that's not the big deal. We don't care about that. They're totally pretending like it doesn't mean anything to them.
What?
They're backing off of it. Jerry Falwell Jr. Was say he basically now he's like totally like playing it like it's no big deal. Quote, what people don't understand is that if you overturn Roe v. Wade, all that does is give the states the right to decide whether abortion is legal or illegal. My guess is there will probably be less than 20 states that would make abortion illegal if given the right. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal.
Well, fuck you for ruining the country then.
Right. Well, there you go. They're making it what now they're pivoting to because they see. Here's the other thing. If Roe v. Wade is overturned, they've lost a huge selling point for their religious right.
Right.
Because then what are they going to argue about? So now they're pivoting to it's about religious freedom.
Right.
So, like, for instance, Johnny Moore, who's he's a Southern Baptist minister. He was the co-chairman of the Trump campaign's Evangelical Advisory Board.
Oh, thank God that exists.
Yeah, right? He said, the left is going to try very hard to say this is all about overturning Roe. Which, of course, yeah, because that's what you were saying. Mm-hmm. But now he's saying that the more significant thing is about the religious freedom. And Tony Perkins, the who leads the Family Research Council, which, by the way, if there is a political group in the United States and the word family's in it, it means we hate gays and
run screaming.
Yeah, it's not okay. And he's saying abortion was simply a factor in the evangelicals' excitement about the Supreme Court. It's not the thing. It wasn't the big deal. I just think it's very interesting, because these people were talking nonstop about this, and now they're just totally turning around and saying, no, it's not a big deal. The big deal is now what they're calling religious freedom, and that means special rights for Christians.
They realize they can get more with that.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that they want is specifically exemptions for the religious folk who are sort of the licensed. Actually, my article that I was about to talk about brings this up. Let me just get to it. A licensed professional civil rights act is something that they're pushing, right? Which would exempt pharmacists, medical personnel, and mental health practitioners from providing care to LGBTQ people and such matters as abortion and contraception.
Yeah, that's
a stated goal.
That's what they're trying to do.
Theirs.
I mean, since you're doing it, why don't we pivot to your story? Because
are you sure you're done?
Yeah, I mean, basically, I've got a bunch of other people saying that that this isn't a big deal, but what they're going to. What they're actually up to now, because they've seen that religion that the abortion issue is only an issue as long as they can rail against Roe v. Wade,
right? And
if that goes away, suddenly they lose a huge soapbox stump speech talking point,
right?
And they need it to rally because they've been hitting it so hard for so long,
right? Well, and the only way they get Roe v. Wade to go away is if they get a collection of crackpots on the court.
Well, I think they could get rid of Roe.
They could weaken it further.
Right. Well, and what they can do is, like Falwell said, they can get rid of it and make it so that it's a states' rights issue.
Right.
So, you won't be able to get an abortion in the South. You'll have to travel to get your abortion. Legally, to get a legal abortion.
Right. All right. Well, the thing that I wanted to bring up that ties in is a conservative push in this country for legislative action at the state level for laws like the "In God We Trust" laws that we've talked about on the show, right?
Yeah.
These we've talked about license plates and states offering "In God We Trust" license plates as an option for free, right? No extra charge for that specialty plate, which Utah has and a few other states have passed. But also, what they're really trying to do is they're trying to get "In God We Trust" posted in public schools.
Right.
Somewhere in the school, mandatory posting.
And a number
and
of states.
6 states now have mandatory "In God We Trust" posting laws. Those states are Arkansas, Alabama, Florida, Arizona, Louisiana, and Tennessee. Probably not no big surprise there.
Right.
One of the surprises in my mind would be that Minnesota has passed a law, but it permits "In God We Trust" being put into public schools. It doesn't,
which is so
mandate
funny
it.
because it's already permitted. Like
Well,
that's just
because it is the national motto.
It's the national, and that's and it does suck because it really should not be there.
Right.
That should be a First Amendment problem.
Should be,
but
so far hasn't been.
It's held
because
up
of religious bias in this country.
It has stood many a judicial test.
Yeah.
Because it's the national motto.
Right. So this whole thing, like I was saying, is part of a larger movement that is called Project Blitz.
Yeah.
I've been kind of aware of this for a while now. This is it would explain why these legislators are basically have pre-written laws on these issues to run, because this organization, it's part of the national, it's called the Congressional Prayer Caucus Foundation,
Right.
and there are there are 30 some prayer caucuses on the state level throughout the country, where your legislators are joining up with other like-minded folk in an organized manner, calling it a caucus, and it is, and they are receiving these pre-written laws direct from this national rabidly conservative organization that is promoting. Here's just a brief list of things that they're promoting: a religion in legal history act that they'd like to see passed at state level throughout the country.
Which means
it
what?
endorses an appropriate presentation of the role of religion in the constitutional history of the United States, to be placed in courthouses and other public institutions.
Right. If you would like to see what they're talking about, see the 4th of July ad that Hobby Lobby puts up every year.
Oh,
That's totally misleading.
Right.
And
they would like to see states pass resolutions on marriage that say that the state supports and encourages marriage between one man and one woman.
Gotta love the resolution.
They're not
the non-binding, non-legal, non-law resolution that just says, well, we don't like it.
Right.
We think gays are yucky.
They have a so-called Child Protection Act that would allow religious exemptions for adoption and foster care agencies from serving same-sex couples. Both Kansas and Oklahoma have passed a law like this within, just last year. I mentioned the Licensed Professional Civil Rights Act. There's also a Student Prayer Certification Act that would require states to certify that they are not preventing students from engaging in constitutionally protected prayer.
Again, a law that means nothing because the students have the right to do it.
Right.
So passing a law that says our state makes sure we certify that they have this right is just a waste of time and taxpayer money and all sorts of other stuff.
And so we need to be watching our state legislatures closely.
Yeah.
Here in Utah, they meet once a year for 45 days or whatever it is in like January and February. Other states, they meet. There are states that meet every other year. There are states that have full-time legislatures. This can be a really hard thing to keep your eye on. but we need to be really diligent and be calling our state representatives when these things are coming up.
Right.
These are this is part of a very carefully crafted plan. The Republicans and conservatives in this country have been packing the judiciary with conservative appointments that are going to be very friendly to these laws.
Right. And oftentimes conservative appointments that aren't even qualified.
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole
They're not even
story.
they don't even care about the law.
Right.
What they care about is their religion.
They're ideologues, and and they don't know what they're doing. Anyway, it should be pointed out that we do have allies out there that we should probably be trying to work with.
Yeah.
There are religious people who actually see this as an affront to religion. I have Roland Russ, a quote from a guy named Roland Russell here. He's a retired United Church of Christ minister. He's been active with Americans United for separation of church and state.
Mm-hmm.
He says, they're destroying the integrity of religion in America. It makes me crazy that people with that understanding of Christianity are enforcing their theological perspective on everybody else. So this is a minority. This is not all believers who are going to be supporting this kind of stuff.
Right.
It's a rabid, think Handmaid's Tale worldview.
Yeah.
Just without all the
But they're well
procreation
organized
issues.
and they're working hard.
Yeah.
So organize your damn selves and work harder.
Yeah.
There's more of us.
Yep.
I'm going to take us to the Vatican.
I love the Vatican.
Where Pope Francis, we all know who he is. We'll recall, I will remind our listeners that Pope Francis has a stated zero tolerance policy on child rape by priests, etc. By
That's
clergy.
a really good thing to have zero tolerance policy.
Yeah. What he doesn't have is a written policy or any laws governing such things in the Vatican. The Vatican itself, the Holy See, does not have any policies in place to protect children from pedophile priests.
Well done, Popey.
He's required of all like everywhere in the world, all of his dioceses sort of have to have policies in place, have to have sort of what do they call them? They have to have some sort of written guidelines to prevent abuse. Not at the Vatican, though.
So he's created this sort of lawless, like neutral zone where priests can feel safe.
Kind of. I mean, now, in fairness, there aren't that many children in the Vatican.
Right.
It is not a place where children live. There are no, pretty much almost all of the residents
right.
Are unmarried men.
Right.
So not a lot of children happening there. But there are some.
Those poor unfortunate.
Within the 44 acres that are the Vatican. Now, mind you, they have the Vatican City's legal code does criminalize violence against children. Okay. That happened in 2013. It wasn't even criminal until 2013.
Oh.
Last month the Vatican Tribunal convicted a former diplomat of possession and distribution of child pornography.
Oh, Jesus.
But there have been problems. There was because there's no clear-cut policy there, last year, a teenager, mind you, in the Vatican's youth seminary, accused one of the older boys of sexually molesting his roommate. Nothing came of it. They did nothing. Well, that's not true. The Vatican didn't. There was a bit of an investigation. No one bothered to interview the alleged victim. They didn't get the Vatican's police involved. They just a few priests, quote unquote, investigated, and then promptly expelled the kid that tried to blow the whistle on the thing and ordained the kid that was accused.
Oh, my God.
So,
wow, they're really setting a good example.
Great job, Vatican. You done good.
Well, see, that's how Catholics operate outside of a legal system that's going to prevent that from happening.
Right.
Because that's exactly what we see, what was repeated the world over.
The world over. It was, don't refer this to the authorities.
Right.
Don't refer this to the criminal police. Make sure that you do, we'll handle this internally, and we'll do so by assuming that the priest who's been accused is probably a good guy, so we'll just shuffle him off to a different place so that he's out of the, out of the minds of the people who are accusing him, and hope for the best.
What else can you do, really, Dan? Except hope for the best.
Hoping,
It's a great
hope
message.
springs eternal. What more could we ask? But hope.
Gross.
And convictions.
Yes,
I guess hope
yes.
and
Jail
conviction.
time.
Right, yeah.
People being locked away.
Making sure, protecting children. That I hope I have high hopes for that, but it doesn't seem to be happening.
It's clearly never been much of a priority.
No.
So, I mean,
Brr.
good on them, I guess. I don't know.
My God.
All right. Dan, we've talked a little bit on the show recently about some places in Europe starting to have some real issues with their immigrant populations, specifically their Muslim immigrant populations. There is a refugee crisis going on, seemingly globally, and we're having a rough time with it. Europe's having a rough time with it, and various different places have come up with different solutions.
Sure.
Each in their own way, right?
And they all work. They all of the solutions.
Well, let me tell you about this
work
one, Dan.
Great. I'm guessing
you may want to withhold your judgment.
I'm guessing I'm about to hear something really positive.
So Denmark has issued a set of new laws that have defined ghettos, immigrant ghettos within their cities.
And let's just point out that that's a word that has worked so well.
We're going to get to all of this, Dan.
In the past in Europe.
Dan, we're going to get to all of this. We're going to get to all of it. They've passed. They've identified 25 neighborhoods based on residents' income, employment status, education levels, number of criminal convictions, and, quote, non-Western background in order to pick out these parts of Denmark.
Wow.
They have identified, so they are now legally defining ghetto parent and ghetto child. Right? Any ghetto children, starting at the age of 1, must be separated from their families for at least 25 hours a week, not including nap time, for mandatory instruction in Danish values.
Oh, my God.
Including the traditions of Christmas and Easter.
Oh, my God.
And the Danish language. Non-compliance with these new requirements on these ghetto parents could result in the ending of welfare payments. Other Danish citizens are, of course, free to choose whether or not to enroll children in preschool,
right,
up to the age of 6.
Wow,
this is really, really rough stuff.
Yeah, this is not good. In case anyone's wondering what the TGIA editorial view of this is bad. You can't just, like, when you're deciding on how to do, like how to separate things out, what you don't do is go neighborhoods and then look for neighborhoods that check the box of not locals.
Yeah. So they let's get into some other things that they're requiring in these new sets of laws. One measure well, this one's under consideration still, would allow courts to double the punishment for certain crimes if they are committed inside one of the 25 neighborhoods. Another would impose a 4-year prison sentence on immigrant parents who force their children to make extended visits to their country of origin. They're describing them as re-education trips.
What the fuck?
This that would have a damaging effect on their, quote, schooling, language, and well-being.
Forcing their kids, meaning taking their kids back to their ancestral home.
Mm-hmm. Another law would allow legal authorities to increase their monitoring and surveillance of ghetto families. Some proposals have been rejected already, such as the one proposed by Martin Henriksen. He's a member of the Danish People's Party. It's a far-right party that would confine ghetto children to their homes after 8 p.m.
Oh, good. Yeah.
When asked how they would enforce it, apparently he didn't blink and had no sense of how horrible the thing was that he was about to say.
Right.
He said that young people in these areas could be fitted with electronic ankle bracelets.
Of course. Yep. Great. You solved it. You done solved it.
But this is very prevalent thinking in Denmark right now, apparently.
Denmark!
Apparently, their justice minister, Soren Pape Poulsen, said, he's on record saying, some would wail and say, we are not equal before the law in this country.
Yeah.
And certain groups are punished harder. But that's nonsense, he said, noting that the increased penalties would affect only people who break the law.
Right. See?
But, yeah.
Yeah, the same thing would be true if they just made it against the law to be brown.
Might be helpful. You know, I mean, really,
just do that.
like, you don't want to, like, pick out skin color. What they really should do is they should come up with some kind of symbol that they have to sew onto their clothes.
Sure.
To make them stand out.
That just makes it...
because then they're a ghetto resident.
You're saving money.
Punished more harshly.
You're saving money on the trackers. If you just do that. And lest anyone think we're using hyperbole here, the word ghetto in Europe, the history of that word is it was largely used to describe Jewish neighborhoods.
Yes,
pre-World War II.
Here's a quote from a social democrat who's in Parliament. Her name's Yildiz Akdogan. She says, we call them ghetto. Well, she says she's worried that Danes have become desensitized to the harsh rhetoric about immigrants, and they no longer register the negative connotation of the word ghetto, right?
Yeah.
And it's echoes of Nazi Germany, right?
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Just as you were saying. She says, we call them ghetto children, ghetto parents. It's so crazy. It is becoming a mainstream word, which is so dangerous. People who know a little about history are European not so nice, period. We know that what the word ghetto is associated with.
They're putting the Dane back in dangerous.
Yeah. And, nobody wants to repeat that not so nice period.
No. It wasn't very nice. I don't know my history too good, but if I remember it at all, it wasn't very nice.
Yeah.
That period in the 30s and 40s.
Yeah. So anyway, a lot of this, the politicians have been railing against a parallel society that they feel has developed up in Denmark. The Danes have this tradition, this idea of being this very unified place. The people all work together. They pay high taxes to benefit each other. And
nobody else.
And they're more than welcome. They've been welcoming these people into their country, right?
Right.
With the idea that they would become Danish. Of course, they would opt into this Danish model. Who wouldn't want to? I would gladly go take assimilation classes in Denmark. Okay, gladly, if they let me in, right?
Yeah.
But these folk don't really want that. They're Muslim and they have their traditions and their ways, but a very wise. They interview a very wise teenager in this article, an 18-year-old Somali refugee who's been in Denmark since she was 5. She says, "It hurts that they don't see us as equal people. We actually live in Danish society. We follow the rules. We go to school. The only thing we don't do is eat pork." And she points out that this treatment is actually going to just have the effect of solidifying the parallel society that doesn't really, it does a little kind of exist, but like it's now going to be a radicalized, insular, us against them thing, rather than just this group of people who live in your society, benefit from your society, and maybe in a generation or two, you will be benefiting from them too.
Right. If you're
in sort of economic terms,
if you're concerned about a parallel society happening, the thing you don't do is further marginalize them.
Right.
Like what you do is you show how your society benefits people.
Right.
You invite them to participate at whatever level they are comfortable, and they'll come. And if it's so great, they'll do more and more.
Right.
They'll come to you more and more. But like ghettoizing them,
literally
using the terms, I don't think that's going to help with the whole parallel society thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to close out with some baby step positive news.
Yeah.
I got something that's at least a little bit happy.
I don't know. Don't dangle that out in front of me, Dan.
No, you're going to like this.
Okay.
It's not here. It's in Australia.
Fuck.
But let me tell you something. Australia is a successfully secular country in many ways. One of the ways they're not, however, is how they open every session of Parliament, which is with a recitation of the Lord's Prayer.
Really?
Yeah. I was not aware of that. I am now. But Lee Rhiannon, who is a parliamentarian, she's in the Greens party, has decided to go against that, to say, hey, maybe it would be good if we didn't force all of Parliament to recite a specifically Christian prayer at the beginning of everything.
Okay.
And she is going to make a motion for a Senate inquiry into a proposed alternative. She says, Senators, quote, "Senators, let us in silence pray or reflect upon our responsibilities to all the people of Australia and to future generations."
I have a suggestion.
She's just saying a moment of silence.
Here's their alternative.
Yeah.
The Pledge of Allegiance.
America, pledging allegiance to the United States of America. That's what they need to be doing. She has gone out and gotten a letter signed by progressive religious leaders about this. It's what you were talking about.
Yeah. Sometimes we have allies out there.
Father Rod Bauer of the Anglican parish of Gosford, the Reverend Margaret Mayman of Pitt Saint Uniting Church.
That's a weird name.
I don't know what that means. And Rabbi Jeffrey Cammons of the Temple Emmanuel, excuse me, of the Temple Emmanuel at Woollahra.
Lovely name.
There's a
beautiful Woollahra
town somewhere in Australia called Woollahra. I don't know how to say it. Anyway, it's surrounded by kangaroos. That's all I know.
Sure. Yeah, no, of course.
So apparently the Greens think that they have enough support to set up an inquiry. I don't know what that means.
They're going to ask some questions.
They'll just they'll inquire.
Yeah.
But it's a step. I mean, apparently they have enough support from their coalition. There were Senators Sterling Griff and Rex Patrick. Great names. Good job. The Centre Alliance will support the motion, although Patrick was very quick to note that it is, quote, not the same thing as supporting replacing the prayer.
Right.
But all they're calling for is don't make everybody say it. We'll just have a moment of silence where If you want to say it, you can say it.
Right. To yourself.
Quietly.
Yeah.
To you.
Right.
Well, to God, but to you. And if you don't want to say the prayer, that's okay too.
It's amazing how prayer works that way, or can work that way.
Yeah.
Right? That you get to choose whether you say a prayer or not.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Or if
What's amazing,
you're participating in a prayer.
Let us note that in these United States and around the world, usually, like, I'm all for actual religious freedom, but that term, if it's spoken in a political context, doesn't mean that. What they're looking for is religious privilege.
Right.
And that's different.
What we want is separation of church and state.
Yeah.
That's what we really want.
And the right for you to practice your religion as you please, as long as it doesn't break the law.
And for me to not have to practice
And for me to not ever have to, like, be a part of that.
that I can opt out of all of them.
Right.
Yeah.
That's religious freedom. That's what we want.
That's it.
And
Easy.
go Greens in Australia for trying to make it happen on a tiny, small level.
Yeah, you guys are so great in Australia. Awesome. Well done.
They are kind of great.
They are kind of great, and it pisses me off.
Just stop bragging about it.
Keep it to yourself, Australia.
Just quietly show us all the way. That would be nice. Anyway, if you guys have anything you'd like to write in to say, or if you want to brag about how great Australia is, you can do so by writing to us, podcast at thankgodimatheist.com. I can't speak anymore.
Or you could call and leave us a voicemail message.
Sure.
The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Yep. Hey, regardless of those things, do go to the Facebook page, and that's facebook.com/TGIAtheist, and click that like button.
And while you're on Facebook, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge. Request to join. Or, if you're on Reddit,
Yeah.
you know,
or
if you're on Reddit,
we say in chorus.
look for the TGIA subreddit.
Nope. TGI Atheist.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
You set it up, damn it.
TGI Atheist subreddit.
Yeah.
We'll be having a lively conversation there, I'm sure. A bunch of people have already signed up.
Yeah. Some people had trouble finding it, but I looked for it at it's
there.
Reddit/r/TGI Atheist.
Yes. Yeah. So great.
Go there.
Go check that out.
Post
And
upvote, downvote. I don't know what the things are.
no, Dan.
Don't downvote.
Only upvote.
Only upvote.
We accept only upvoting.
Downvoting is for rude people.
Not true. It's the way the whole thing works. All right. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, Dan.
Uh-huh.
We got a nice little quote here from Jim Baker that I want to play.
It's cute.
You know, this is straight from, his big giant infomercial for buckets of food.
This guy is a master at, what's amazing about this show, and this, usually our clips that we play don't show this pivot.
Right.
But the way that they are like, religious outrage by food. Like the way that they make that pivot is amazing. They do not, it's blended perfectly.
Yeah.
And you're right to point out, this is not a show about religion.
No,
this is an infomercial about food that they mask, that they
Yeah.
It is amazing. They have gone all in on the buckets of food.
Right.
Second they say the word bucket, just understand that they're in to selling.
Yeah.
So this is a great transition. I love this.
Here we go.
God has spoken to us to prepare for what's coming. I believe Donald Trump was given by God to give us a respite and give us a time of prosperity. But do you think the evil Antichrist spirit is sitting back?
No.
They're fighting tooth and toenail. They're fighting the president.
Yes.
They want to kill him.
Yes.
And believe me, if they get one open shot, someone will kill our president.
Matter of fact, in
Pray
the
for
news
him.
yesterday, they had to go and find somebody in Pennsylvania that has made threats to the President of the United States to kill him.
Yes.
This is real. And when you talk about the prophets being here on this stage, this is the number one thing that keeps saying, Jim, Lori, audience, we are living in the most prophetic time in history than any other time. If that's the case, we're getting the storehouse ready one bucket at a time.
And
all you preppers that don't have coffee, this is your moment to start getting your coffee ready. Start stocking up on coffee. Bartering is going to be the number one thing.
What do you think that would be worth if the sun don't shine? What would it be worth if this power goes out and there's no trucks running and the EMP bomb or whatever they're talking about for these last day events? This 2-gallon bucket of packs of coffee,
Yes.
you could trade them for whatsoever you want.
That's it.
You could probably get a new car for one packet of coffee.
A new car.
I'm glad that your end times will be taken care of with a new car.
Yeah.
For one packet. He's not. He didn't say bucket there.
No.
He's talking about this coffee is so valuable.
Yeah.
That this one little packet.
It's amazing. If you had told me, draw a line, let's see if they can draw a line from end times to they want to murder the president. Okay. Didn't hear them complaining when people wanted to murder our previous president.
Right.
But okay. From that to prophecy, there's more prophecy than ever, to coffee in less than a minute.
To bartering system to you got yourself a new car.
Right, to a new car from coffee. Like, man, you guys are like the word salad. You're not even trying to draw lines. You're just jumping. I'm just going to change lanes. Like, they don't have to say anything. They can just throw out keywords.
Yeah.
And be outraged about it, and then coffee, and then bucket.
Yeah.
Food. Oh, it is amazing to me.
Yeah.
Like
They're good
not
at it.
They're not even trying to draw the lines anymore.
And Lori's just in the background the whole time. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's right.
Oh.
I'm sincere. I believe things. She is
a new car.
I will agree to anything that you say.
That's right.
I am blonde and I will nod.
That's right.
That's her job. I think her job is blonde and nod. Oh my goodness. Well, we had some folks write into us that I think will answer, or they're answering us.
Really?
Including Rabbi Gruber, who did, among others, wrote into us. We had speculated on where the name of the airline El Al comes from.
It's the owl.
With
The owl.
you went with Spanish. Good. I think we can agree that Israel's airlines do like Spanish as their thing. I had speculated that the word El meant God with my vast understanding of Hebrew. I had heard the word El refer to God. Well, it turns out that I'm wrong. I'm using the wrong version of El.
Oh, no way.
So in this case, El actually means to or toward.
Okay.
And Al is up. So
Toward up?
El Al up to up or to the sky. I guess.
Beautiful name.
Rabbi Gruber says. In fact, it has nothing to do with El, the Canaanite god, father of Baal, the titular god in the Canaanite pantheon. I do believe that El. Am I wrong? And there's another listener actually pointed out. This is another Israeli that listens to our show. Pointed out that El can be short for Elohim, in which is the. I think that's the Hebrew God, not just Canaanites. Anyway, the words actually, Rabbi Gruber says the words actually sound different in the Ashkenazic and Yemenite pronunciation, but not in the Sephardic pronunciation used by modern Hebrew speakers. So, thanks for that clarification. Really great.
Thanks, Rabbi Gruber.
Yeah. Thanks. He's always there to help us out.
Quick to the draw too. Like
he's good.
If you were in a gunfight in the West, you lose against this man.
Yeah, I want
quick.
Rabbi Gruber on our side always.
Absolutely.
Emily wrote into us. I'm not going to read her whole thing, but she's talking about you and I sort of shit on humankind a little bit. In that we
suck.
We were saying that humans, I think what we said was something along the lines of that we're the smartest critter that we got.
Yeah.
But we managed to do really stupid things consistently.
Yeah.
We're pretty dumb for how smart we are. But Emily didn't like that. I would like to address the recent episode 339 on the negative view of humans and the actually quite damaging things it propagates. Firstly, on humans being really good at killing each other and nothing else, and really good at killing each other. She says actually quite the opposite. Read On Killing by David Grossman. The evidence shows that since we are an incredibly social species, that we are very weak on our own, and our built-in empathy actually renders us incredibly ineffectual at killing. After all, we are the only species that cries out in empathetic pain and seek justice for killing and wrongdoing. And yeah, we shouldn't kill each other. We understand that right up until we start killing each other.
Right.
We are really good at it. Like we have developed some really good methods.
I've been to some of those like torture chamber museums during trips to Europe and elsewhere. We're clever. And the whole social thing, like if somebody feels like what they're doing is maintaining the social order by inflicting horror on others.
Right. That's the problem.
They're usually capable and willing to do so. That's my perspective.
Yeah. I mean, we've created some pretty impressive devices for killing.
I would say that this is sort of a classic problem with humanity is that we are empathetic creatures, but our empathy has its bounds.
Right.
And
we're
willing to draw those lines and dehumanize others and see them as lesser and as less worthy, less important,
and dangerous
and dangerous. And our empathy runs out.
Right.
Right.
Or rather, we just apply it only to our in-group.
Yeah, exactly.
And
that's essentially what I'm saying.
We don't apply it to the out-group.
Right.
So we need to kill all of them because, oh my God, they might do something to us.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So
it's not like, yes, we do. We're very social. We're very pro-social species.
Yeah.
As long as it's the in-group and out-group. I mean, I think I agree with Emily for a lot of things.
That's why what I would say in general that we didn't say last time, but Emily raises an interesting point in question here, which is that's why I think it's really important for us to do empathy-building exercises as kids are going through school and even as adults in the workplace. Like, we need to have greater empathy. We need to expand our empathy.
Right.
And so I would agree with Emily in that when we do feel empathy toward others, it is incredibly hard to do harm to them. And that's why this is such an important topic.
I think our point wasn't that we as a species are so shitty that we should just give up.
No.
The point is the opposite. We need to be training ourselves to expand our concentric circles of empathy.
Exactly. Yeah.
We need to train the world to make their tribe all of everybody.
Yeah.
Your tribe is everybody.
Right.
That's our whole point. Emily closes by she berates us about how intelligent our species is too. And she's right. Like, yes, we created the Hadron Collider, and we created, we can land a robot on Mars.
And that's when we're working together.
That's amazing.
That's
and
when we're doing
it's
that's
great.
when things are working.
She says, why do we call out bigotry against races and genders and creeds, but not against our own species? Well, because we're a bunch of dum-dums. So, look, this is not a one thing or the other point.
Right.
The point here is that humans are amazing, and we act like idiots.
Right.
And we can't... The point is that if we cheer ourselves on all the time, and we're always just like, go us, we're amazing, we forget to like go, oh shit, but we were really dumb in X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And if we say, and to Emily's point, if we're only about like how shitty and awful we are, then we give up on humanity, and we, people stopped voting and all of that stuff.
Right.
So Emily's right to some extent, but we do have to point out the moments when we're just. And the thing is, good people say and do horrific bad things. And we need to acknowledge that about the nature of humanity. That like good people can be led to do awful things.
Yeah.
Because we're just dumb.
Yeah.
And we got to take that into okay, Emily. So we're going to agree to disagree on the greatness of humanity to some extent. Greetings from Sweden. Hi, Frank and Dan. This is from Andreas. Today, while having lunch, I saw a pair of young, well-groomed men wearing white shirts, ugly ties, very ass-clingy pants, and name tags. Years of training from listening to your show sprung into action. These were Mormon missionaries.
Oh, my goodness.
I was so excited, but I had just received my food, so I decided I had to fight down the urge to run over and talk to them. They looked so goddamn lost and weird, and I was thinking that trying to convert people in Sweden must be one of the worst jobs a man can have. Yeah. Yep. Anyway, I love the show, guys. Andreas in Malmo. I don't know if I pronounced Malmo right. I don't know how the Swedes would say it, but there you go. Yeah,
those missionaries, they're out there.
If you see the missionaries out there, just know that, yes, they're doing the worst thing in the world. They're so sad. The Mormon missionaries having to go door to door, trying to talk people into a religion that you basically don't really know anything about because you're 19 and all you've been taught
18,
is...
18, Dan.
Oh, 18, right. Now it's down to 18.
Good Lord.
So, yeah, I mean, don't harass people. Don't harass the missionaries, but, I see the impulse to go and talk to them.
Yeah, they're weird.
They're weird. They will not tell you. It won't be a good, excuse me.
Wow, Dan.
It won't be a stirring, interesting conversation.
No.
But it might be interesting to you.
But, there are things that you can get from the missionaries, so it might be worth it too.
Yes, let us reiterate our point. The official TGIA What to Do with Mormon Missionaries standpoint, which is get them to do some chores around your house.
Absolutely.
They will be happy to do it because
they'll do anything.
They will do it. Well,
and here's the deal.
They may not polish your dildo collection or whatever.
Probably not, but they will be happy for to have something to do other than knocking more doors.
Right.
Like stoked.
They will be
just
super because
not have that tedium going on.
They're
anymore.
required to do a certain amount of service. That's part of their sort of. So if they can count it as service, it counts for the day. They're not in trouble for not knocking doors or whatever. You're helping them,
right?
So all you have to say is, "Look, I'm not interested in your religion, but I will give you water. I will give you a little bit of food if you want it,
right?"
And I need help building these shelves or mowing my lawn or I'm changing my whole garden. Do you guys want to be a part of it?
Yeah.
To which they will say,
yes,
I do. Mm-hmm. And then don't pay them.
No.
You don't have to pay them.
Have to pay them.
Don't pay them.
I strongly discourage giving them any money.
Don't give them money. Feed them, water them.
They wouldn't accept it.
Right.
I don't think they would.
They shouldn't. But feed them and water them, and they will be your happy slaves.
Yeah.
So
be upfront about the whole no, don't talk.
You can
Jesus
be
to me.
totally upfront. You can say, look, I'm not interested in your religion. I'm not. But if you want to help me with X project, I could use the help. They'll be there in a heartbeat. They might bring friends.
Ugh,
So
it's possible.
anyway, there you go. Thanks for writing in, everybody. Do we have some folks to thank?
We have a new faithful listener, Dan.
Okay.
Adam. So thank you very much, Adam, for joining the ranks. Adam is somebody who went to our website, thankgodimatheist.com, and clicked on the support tab.
Yeah.
Upon which he was taken to Patreon.
Which is a different website.
Different website, but it took him directly to our campaign on Patreon.
Right.
To fund the show, improve the show, so forth and so on. And if you would like to join Adam, yeah, you can do the exact same thing.
Yeah. Just go there. It's what keeps us going.
Yeah.
And frankly, it's tough to keep the numbers up.
Yeah.
So if you have the impulse, if it feels like something that you could do, and you appreciate what we do, we certainly appreciate those who contribute.
Yeah.
Including
our long time now Lord and Savior, the
Yes.
Archangela herself, Angela!
long may she wave, in the name of the Mother and the Daughter and the Holy Ghostess. Amen.
Amen. So, Dan,
Yeah.
just a couple days ago, a few days ago, this nation, Dan, this blessed nation, was celebrating.
These United States of America.
Was celebrating a milestone.
Do I need to stand for this?
Huh?
Put my hand over my heart?
Yeah, you should.
Okay.
It was the annual celebration of the Declaration of Independence. 13 colonies, the original
We call
13.
it Independence Day.
Yeah.
It's the day that
Or we just call it the 4th of July.
the 4th of July. It's the day that we engaged in treason against our British overlords.
Yeah.
And it's only treason if you lose. So we won, and
So-
now it's not treason
So it was
anymore.
revolution.
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
Amazing, Dan. Oh,
So-
we're amazing.
So as
Americans.
I got to say, this year I didn't feel tremendously patriotic this year. I didn't feel tremendously moved to celebrate my country.
Yeah.
It feels like it's in a downturn. It's in a bad spot right now.
Yeah, but one spot where things were really bright was down in Provo, Utah, Dan.
Were they so bright? Were they though?
You were down there, right?
I was not.
Where's-
I don't do that anymore.
Oh.
We don't ever since Grandpa died. We don't go down to Provo for the 4th anymore. We do it up
no,
here.
but you've been to the Freedom Festival parade before. Have you?
I have done.
Yeah.
I have indeed. It is the biggest parade I think in the state.
Is that what they're claiming now?
I think it is, isn't it? We'll
probably
just say
is.
it is. It's one of the biggest.
Outlandish.
It's got to be top 3.
Yeah.
It's huge. It's
Yeah.
they do the big Macy's style balloons.
Oh, do they?
They do you got your marching bands.
No way.
You got your floats.
Nice.
I got to admit, I don't get parades at all. I don't understand them. I don't know what you're doing.
You're
just-
walking down.
You're walking down and I'm waving at you?
Yes. Well, you're oftentimes waving at each other,
Right.
which is nice. It's friendly. Hi.
Just
Hi there.
feels so strange to me. I've never understood what they are. I
It's
like
a celebration, Dan.
them. Is it? It's a weird way to celebrate, I got to say.
It's super fun.
Anyway,
Just people having a good old time, waving their flags.
and of course, anybody's welcome to enter this parade as long as you're on theme.
Right.
They
Which
say.
is jingoistic American patriotism.
Yeah,
Right?
I think the theme can be summed up in just the word "America,"
Right.
or rather they say anybody's welcome as long as they're on theme.
Right.
There's been some trouble with that.
Some people tested that.
Well, they've been
that idea.
They've been testing that idea for a few years now,
and they've been told no.
So
say who it is.
Yes, please say who it is.
It's the gays.
It's the gays. It's the gays, the lesbians, the T's and the Q's included.
The B's,
the B's, the T's, the L's, the G's.
All of them.
All of them trying to get into the parade. None of them ever having had success
as a group.
As a group. Well, that's true.
I would assume there's been a gay person somewhere.
I assume there's been many gays in the parade. But none of them holding a sign that says LGBTQ appreciation or whatever.
Right.
They've been organizations have been trying for years now. There was a big kerfuffle last year where last year I believe they were accepted and then later just
revoked.
Yeah. They were let in and then they were out.
Kind of last minute, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they love to do that. Yeah. Pull the rug right out from under you. It's like what's her name in the football with Charlie Brown?
Sally just
Susie. Lucy. Anyway, go ahead and kick the ball. Yoink!
Yeah.
Psych, you don't get to be in the parade.
Right.
Well, this year.
So, yeah, they lined the whole thing up.
They applied again.
Yeah, and they were, let's see, they were initially told no.
They were, yes.
Then they were told yes.
They were told no.
With some really strict stipulations. And then they were told no again.
Right.
At which point they had a big old meeting, right?
Including the Provo mayor got involved.
There was a county commissioner who was really important, a Utah county commissioner who played a big vital part in this whole thing, and who was promoting getting the LGBTQIA groups in.
Right. Because the thing is that this is put on by an organization that is not a government organization.
Right.
It's called the Freedom something.
Right. Freedom Festival something.
Right.
But they do take government money.
Right.
And some resources, right? And as such, when you get that kind of stuff, the government says you have to be welcoming to everyone, and these are the groups that are protected and that are allowed. Right. You have to be inclusive. And they didn't want to let the gays in.
Right.
So anyway, so there was this big old meeting.
So they labeled all the gay organizations activist organizations, and they're like, this isn't an activist thing.
Right.
And literally, ladies and gentlemen, you have to understand, these are the least activist organizations in the world. It's like PFLAG. Their activism is like be nice.
Yeah.
That's the entirety of their activism.
And there's a gay center, an LGBTQ center down in Provo
Pride,
that wanted to, march and everything. So anyway, they all get together. They have this big meeting. A couple of people who were in the meeting described it as the most one of the roughest meetings they've ever been in their life.
Wow.
Because it was obviously heated and contentious. And there was much emotion, apparently.
Yeah.
But they come out of the meeting with the guarantees that as long as they're waving flags and being, pro-America.
Being American.
Then they're more than welcome. Well, not more than welcome. They will be allowed.
They will be tolerated in the parade.
And then at the basically the 11th hour, the day before, so on the 3rd, they were revoked again. And then in the 11th hour and 30 minutes, they were given permission.
Here's the thing.
It was just this quick back and forth right at the very end. Obviously, the right people got on the phone and were like, knock it off, they're in, or the whole thing's called off.
Right. Well, here's the thing about this. If you're so fucking conservative that the mayor of Provo, Utah is stepping in to say, back it off a couple notches, dickweed, you've gone way too far.
Yeah.
Because it's not like Provo is a blue dot.
Oh no.
Provo's not electing any liberal mayors.
Home of Brigham Young University.
Provo, Utah is like, it's Stepford.
Yeah.
It's like everybody's got to smile and be Mormon, and if you don't, then you're the weirdo, you're the outcast, you're the whatever.
It's their Colorado Springs. Right.
It is.
It's their Orange County. Right.
It's yeah. It is. I mean, Utah is the reddest of the red states.
Right.
Provo is no exception to that.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, to get to be to the point where the parade is being like scolded by Provo politicians, you've gone very far. Yeah. So, did the gays get to march?
Yes, thank God.
They did it.
Thank God.
They made it into the thing that makes no sense to me.
And it was a above the headline photo in today's Tribune.
Yeah.
It was in fact, the Tribune's banner was sort of burned into the photo of people marching, the gays marching in the Provo parade. It's really fantastic, Dan.
Yeah.
It's progress. It's these little baby steps.
Oh, my God.
This shouldn't need to still be happening.
Let me tell you something. It is not like there were go-go boys in tiny shorts and like fabulous. It was not that.
No, this was the khaki and polo set.
Yeah. This is the button-down gays. This is as gentle an introduction to homosexuality as you could possibly imagine in Provo, Utah.
Yeah, this was the log cabin.
They're not throwing glitter. Yeah, I'm right. This is gays for Trump, is what this is. But they were there. At
it's
least
confusing, I know,
but they made it in. They made it in. This is a big thing in Utah because, Mormonism is passive aggressive, but man, are they hardcore about it.
Yeah.
And they get aggressive when it's their kid.
Right.
And even when they're not, like, you've got a kid in a family he's the only one who knows he's gay. She's the only one that knows she's gay. The family doesn't know it.
Yeah.
And then they hear this rhetoric about I'd rather have a kid dead than gay in my family.
Right. Yeah.
Or they hear their parents talking about the shame of the Johnsons down the street who have a gay kid.
Right.
And Utah has one of the highest teen suicide rates in the country.
Yeah.
Because of that. Because the Mormons. So, yeah, when Encircle, which is an LGBT youth resource center based in Provo, wants to march in the parade, it's a big deal that they get to.
Yeah.
It's really important
that
they get to do it. That they get that visibility, that some gay kid might be sitting with his family and see these people passing by that are like healthy, good adult people who are either gay or gay supporting.
They shop at the Gap too.
Right. Right. So, yeah. Hooray.
Yeah.
I mean, this is again part of the ongoing battle for just human dignity against religion.
Right.
Because religion does not support basic human kindness and dignity a little too much. A little too often.
Yeah.
That's what we get.
I know, Dan.
So, hooray. They marched in the parade. Are you thrilled?
Oh, my heart's just swelling, Dan. I think it's great. I think it's important. It's a, more and more of these folks who do these pseudo public events need to understand that they can't go around being bigots and prejudiced and they just can't do it. It's not allowed. That's not the country we live in.
Right. We need to do maybe let this happen a couple years in a row, and then we need to try to get a float in called
Atheists?
Red, White, and Fabulous. that is the Go-Go Boys and the Dykes on Bikes or whatever, and just
their Speedos are red, white, and blue.
Yeah, exactly.
How more patriotic than that can you be?
Right. They love our country. They just don't want to wear clothes.
Right.
Very much.
What you do first is you get some straights to push the limits a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? And then when the gays come along, they're like, well, but they're doing it.
Right, exactly. We'll do Red, White, and Fabulous, but it'll be straight people who are super into... Like we'll get the kink community to try and get a...
Oh, Jesus.
All right. You guys brainstorm it and let us know. You can write to us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com, and give us your ideas for what should be in the parade to make things easier on the button-down LGBTQ people.
Call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Correct. Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist, and click that like button.
And while on Facebook, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge. Request to join. It is a closed group, but we will let you in.
That's right. And speaking of Facebook, thanks so much. Go out to Mackenzie for her hard work on the Facebook page, and to Amy, Danny, and Sarah for their work as moderators in the mall, in the Members Only Lounge.
And I'd like to get a plug-in for the brand new, shiny, spanking new subreddit.
Yeah.
TGI Atheist subreddit. Go check that out if you're on Reddit.
Still got that new sub smell.
Yeah, we're getting it up and running. We have some comments. We have people coming out of the woodwork, and it's great.
Yep.
So check that out if that intrigues you.
Absolutely.
Also, we do need to thank the Red Rock Hot Club and Gordon Johnston for the use of their music.
And thanks again to our patrons, and thank you, dear listener, for tuning in.
Bye.